Good morning, Mark Silverman here. I am enjoying a book so much that I decided I needed to do a review of this book. And the book I'm talking about is A Beautiful Constraint by Mark Barden and Adam Morgan. The book, I picked up the book, actually I found the book on my bookshelf and I have no idea how I got it. I think Rich Litvin gave it to me, I'm not exactly sure. But this book, I started to use it because I had limited resources. So a beautiful constraint means what limiting factors are in your business and how can you use them to propel your business forward? How can you innovate with those limiting factors in your business? And I was using it for me because I need to create product and I need cash, I need money, I need resources to create those products to put out into the world. So if I want to write my own book, how do I get an editor? How do I do the things that I need to do? But funny thing happened. I had surgery on my foot and all of a sudden my life is constrained by not being able to go up and down stairs, by not being able to stand, by not being able to drive for 2 months. And I made the decision to use the concepts in this book on how to propel my life forward, how to propel my business forward with that particular constraint. It changed everything for me. What I love about the book is, for me, I think every entrepreneur and every business should read this book. I think it's one of the top 5, top 10 business books, business concepts of all time. I think it's an easy read. If you love business case studies, it's chock full of them. If you don't like business case studies, the concepts, you can skim through the case studies and get to the concepts really quickly. Now I'm going to put the diagram that I always put in my videos about the circle of how to work with a constraint. I'm going to put that in the notes so that you can use it. But basically, what happens is when you hit the constraint, kind of a victim mode, the challenge really, for me, gets me down. I don't, the first couple of days of being stuck in the chair and not being able to do anything and being on painkillers, I did not have a great feeling about things. How do you break that pattern? How do you get yourself from kind of victim and whiny to what can I do with this situation? And then break path dependence is the next thing, which, basically if a business is doing something the way they've always done it, they're living in the past. How do they break that chain? And usually it's a constraint that makes people do something differently. How can you use a constraint that is put on you, or how can you artificially add one to your organization? My constraint was that I couldn't walk. Then the compelling questions that you need to ask to move forward. So for me, how can I move my business forward even more than since I'm constrained to home, how can I move my business forward? How can I increase my physical strength? How can I change my workout so I'm in better shape when this is done? So those are propelling questions. How can we do the impossible, the stretch, the goal, using what we have? Then after that, this is my favorite. If you get only one thing out of this, we use other people's resources. We can if we go ask for help. For me, I had to go to Toronto for a business trip. So how do I get to Toronto? Oh, I can if I get handicap access. I can if I go with my scooter. I can if I use public transportation. I can if. So we throw that into a brainstorming session, and all of a sudden, all kinds of cute, amazing things happen. Creating abundance. So, creating abundance. What resources didn't we know we had? What help do we have in the world? There's help everywhere that we just didn't see because we weren't really forced to do that. And then after that is emotions. How do we get really attached and focused on the goal, both mind and body and spirit, to go in that direction? And then how do we get our team? So for me, this is a fascinating journey because, yes, it's a business book, but I am starting to use, I used it these past 3 weeks specifically for personal goals, and I'm going to ask the authors eventually to sit and talk to me on a podcast about how can we actually translate this to personal goals. For me, because setbacks are part of life. Resiliency is something that we need. And that's what I think this book is about. It's all about resiliency. So I really urge you to pick up the book. Ask questions if you want in the comments, and I'm happy to answer them. It's brilliant. It can be used both in business and in personal. And look at and really spend a little time with the image, because that'll help you figure out what the book is about. I thank you for spending time with me. Have a great week.